calling Fall Guys a smash hit is like calling Citizen Kane a strong 8, but there aren't many words to describe just how massive this game truly is. Though certainly not at the levels of PUBG and Fortnite, this indie game made by development studio Mediatonic and produced by Devolver Digital has touched every corner of the internet in one way or another. But something I haven't seen is how it came to be. So, I found out. And what I found is a story of ambition, last chances, and a lesson in the power of live streamers. So, let's take a look together at the developmental history of Fall Guys. Our story begins in 2005. Mediatonic, a British development studio, was founded in September by Brunel University students Dave Bailey and Paul Croft. For the majority of its 15-year existence, Mediatonic served as a work-for-hire development studio for Flash games. Work-for-hire means that although Mediatonic created the game, the person commissioning the game from them owns the copyright. So for many years, Mediatonic produced almost nothing that remained theirs. Despite this, they saw a lot of success in their early years. Developing for companies like Nintendo, Sega, Lego, Bandai Namco, and several Flash game websites, they produced well over 100 games, with their most prolific year being 2008, where they made 38 different Flash games. But you'll only recognize 5 or 6 at most. Their 3 most popular games were Bookworm, Bejeweled 2, and Hatoful Boyfriend. Needless to say, by 2016, with Flash games dying out, Mediatonic was in dire straits. But it wasn't just because Flash games were dying out. In fact, due to the recent success of Hatoful Boyfriend, released in 2014, just 2 years before, Mediatonic had 4 non-Flash games in development for major studios lined up in 2015. And then, by the worst stroke of luck possible, all 4 developers cancelled on them. According to Dave Bailey, there was just this unbelievable cascade effect. The cancellations were not really about us or the games, they were about companies that were restructuring or getting acquired or going through massive changes on their own. We were collateral damage. Their biggest loss was Lionhead Studios, which folded right after they completed development of a game called Fable Fortune and was lining up to do a sequel soon after. Now, for most companies, they could suffer such a loss and live off revenue from their IPs, but Mediatonic didn't have IPs. Nothing they made was theirs, so their only safety net was the savings they built up for the past 10 years. And though they started their work-for-hire side of business back up in 2017, their new goal was evident. They needed to produce something that was theirs. According to an interview with Business Insider, they had only one rule: no battle royale games. With the release of PUBG and Fortnite, by the time they could finish anything resembling a well-made battle royale, the genre would be so saturated that they wouldn't be able to compete with the AAA studios bound to make their own. But then Joe Walsh was like, fuck that, and pitched one anyways. But this battle royale was a much different concept than the loot and shoot games that currently dominated the market. In an interview with Man of Many, Joe's inspirations were laid out. We initially started looking at Japanese game show Takeshi's Castle because it's the funniest and most chaotic, and in many ways it's the original battle royale. We realized this formula would mesh perfectly with the series of Mario Party-like minigames, but we also looked at Total Wipeout, which is another classic. That game show had really great obstacles like fast treadmills and spinning platforms, which are fine-tuned for comedy. This pitch was given in January 2018 in a brainstorming session with Mediatonic director Jeff Tanton. Thanks to Jeff's Twitter, we're actually able to see the original one-page pitch given to him by Walsh. It's you and 99 others versus the Fool's Gauntlet and each other. Climb walls, swing across chasms, and screw over your comrades in a clumsy dash for the finish line and ultimate glory. You die, you lose. Too slow, you lose. Another player knocks you off the tightrope, too bad, game over. Victorious players share the 1 million gold prize pool, so the fewer players that finish, the bigger their reward. But if nobody beats the gauntlet, you all walk away empty-handed. You can see the differences between the original idea and the final product, most notably the much more social nature of the game, where you need to backstab players to get as much as possible, Prisoner's Dilemma style. It's also notably less goofy and a lot more similar to Takeshi's Castle, where you can already see the first reference in the page. I do really like Jeff's reaction to the pitch though. So Joe pitches a battle royale. The nerve of this guy. I'd already said that the market was going to be saturated with battle royales in 2 years, so if there's one genre to avoid, it should probably be this. Then I read it. I immediately forwarded it to one of our studio founders, so convinced of its greatness that I didn't even bother to include any explanation or preamble or sell. We began working up a pitch deck that afternoon. A pitch deck is a presentation made for investors or higher-ups giving a concept and business plan to get them on board. Once again, thanks to Jeff, we get to see some of the concept images made in Blender for the game, and how quickly the aesthetic naturally came together. You can already see the spinners, tilting platforms, and swinging balls too. This was around the time that the name Fall Guys came to be, beating out the original Fool's Gauntlet and Stumble Chums. The biggest inspiration for the bean look of the characters is from Joe Walsh's Yeti Guy vinyl figures from Kid Robot. Now with Mediatonic on board, they were in desperate need of a publisher to make this game possible. At GDC 2018, Jeff Tanton pitched the idea to 10 separate publishers over the course of a few days, but their relationship with Devolver was different than most of them. See, Devolver had worked with Mediatonic on 3 separate occasions over the past few years. Starting in 2013 with Foul Play, a platform brawler, they went on to create Hatoful Boyfriend with Devolver, as well as its follow-up in 2015, which was Mediatonic's most popular game to date by far. So it wasn't a surprise that Devolver Digital was the one that took the deal. 6 months after the pitch, development began in earnest. Fittingly, the first level to ever be made for the game is what we know now as Fall Mountain. And although that first level was made by Anthony Pepper, senior designer of the game, Megan Ralph was hired mid-development and was a major help in the creation of all the levels we have today. But the thing that decides whether a game passes or fails in the modern world of video games many times boils down to one thing: marketing. And if you know Devolver, you know how crafty they can be with marketing. Just a year before Fall Guys began development, Devolver did their E3 2017 conference in a very unconventional way. Instead of a live conference displaying all their games and what they can do, they did this.
Future! The futures! Futures! Future! The futures! Futures! Future! The futures! 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 The futures! Futures! The futures! Future!
It's insanity, and it's completely genius at the same time. They got more exposure from this than they would have ever gotten from a regular conference. And although the marketing wasn't as out there for Fall Guys, it was definitely genius. Fall Guys did little to no actual marketing for the game. In fact, I don't think they did any, really. See, instead of paying money for advertising, they instead made things strategically free. Several live streamers had already been eyeing Fall Guys thanks to a few showcases at E3 and other conferences, and many of the largest of them were given free beta keys. For some games, a free beta key means a minor boost to the game from people who may be interested, but for Fall Guys, I personally believe it had a much larger effect. As Joe Walsh himself puts it, I think what makes it so unique is that it's instantly understandable as soon as you see a clip of it, and that's something that can't be said for a lot of the more complex competitive games that are popular on Twitch. You know, you see these 60 guys at the start line and these horrendous looking obstacles, and you instantly understand what it is you need to be doing, and it makes it really, really watchable. Viewers didn't need to get into the game's meta to know what it's about, they were immediately engaged. But that wasn't quite enough. Fall Guys was planned to release to both PC and PS4, and although it was full price on PC, it was an entirely different story for console. PS Plus makes games free every month, and after the hype of the beta from streamers, it was released entirely free on PS Plus, and it just exploded. 7 million copies, the most downloaded PS Plus game ever, 500,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch. Everything came together to spread this game to every part of the internet. This kind of reaction was way, way beyond any expectations set by the studio, used to being beat down and cut off at every turn. It's hard to imagine now, but we had no idea whether Fall Guys was going to be a success. As a studio, we've taken some tough knocks in the past and picked ourselves up again. There's a resilience in learning through that, a humbleness I think runs through the studio culture. It also means that we had a whole bunch of muscle memory around near misses and might have beens, but not for completely unprecedented levels of success and attention. When I say it was a shock, I mean I spent the first week kind of numbly updating social media and shaking. Mediatonic finally had something that was theirs, and they knocked it out of the park. This studio was started by 2 ambitious college students and stood under the heels of some of the biggest companies and kept pushing against any obstacle and setback in their way. And for their efforts, after 15 long years of tough positions and sleepless nights, they finally have gold on their hands. And they earned every single ounce of it. I've gotten every achievement and have 50 hours in the game, so it's suffice to say that they've made something truly fun. All they need to do now is eradicate Team Tailsag off the face of the planet. Thank you everyone who worked on this game, and I'm very excited for Season 2, which, if I'm not lazy, should be releasing the day I finish this video. Have fun everyone! That being said, to follow my dreams, I'm gonna have to ask you to subscribe if you like this or any of my other content. I make video essays, history videos, movie and anime reviews, and on and on. If you have any ideas, I highly encourage commenting what you'd like me to do next. I read every comment I get and cherish them dearly. That being said, I hope all of you have a fantastic day, and please, God, watch my meme songs of history video. That's it. See ya.